The serum sitting on your bathroom shelf right now could be doing absolutely nothing for your skin. Or worse, it could be quietly breaking it down from the outside in. Vitamin C serums are the fastest growing skincare category in Australia today, with Australians spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year chasing that brighter, firmer, more even complexion the influencers and glossy magazine spreads keep promising. But here is what the pretty packaging and glowing 5-star testimonials never tell you. Most vitamin C serums sitting on shelves across Chemist Warehouse, Priceline, and local pharmacy are formulated with unstable vitamin C that degrades within weeks of opening. Synthetic fragrances that cause the exact skin inflammation they are supposed to fight. An active concentration so low that they could not brighten a shadow on a cloudy winter morning in Vermont. In the next 20 minutes, we are counting down 10 vitamin C serums sold right here in Australia, ranking them from the absolute worst to the one that is genuinely worth every single cent. We are going deep on formulation, ingredient lists, independent testing data, and what Australian dermatologists are actually saying and brand representatives are not in the room. Stay until the end, because the number one pick surprises most people, and your skin has been waiting for someone to tell you about it. Number 10, sitting at the very bottom of this list, and earning that position through a combination of misleading marketing and problematic formulation decisions, is the Garnier Bright Blue Vitamin C Serum. Walk into any Chemist Warehouse, city or neighbour, and you will find this bright yellow box practically leaping off the shelf at you. It is everywhere. The marketing promises brighter skin in just 3 days, which is a claim that immediately raises flags for anyone who understands how vitamin C works biologically. Brightening through vitamin C requires consistent delivery of the active ingredient to the melanin-producing cells in the basal layer of the epidermis, a process measured in weeks and months, not days. Turn the bottle over and look past the cheerful marketing copy. You will find parfum listed in the ingredients. Parfum is the cosmetics industry's catch-all term for synthetic fragrance blends, and it is one of the most consistently documented triggers for contact dermatitis and skin sensitization, recorded by the Australasian College of Dermatology. The specific problem with fragrance in a vitamin C serum is the compound chemistry. Vitamin C, in its most potent form, requires an acidic environment on the skin to penetrate the barrier effectively. Fragrance compounds introduced into that same acidic environment can generate free radical activity right at the skin surface, meaning this product is simultaneously attempting to deliver antioxidant protection while introducing some of that very oxidative stress it claims to combat. Independent cosmetic chemists analysed shelf samples of the serum reported visible oxidation, that telltale yellowing and orange browning of the liquid within 3 to 4 weeks of opening, well before any meaningful active delivery to the skin could occur. For seniors already managing rosacea, skin sensitivity, or post-procedure skin, this formulation is a guaranteed route to redness. Garnier has the research capacity and the budget to do better. They chose not to. Skip this completely. Coming in at number 9 is Palmer's Vitamin C Brightening Facial Serum, a product that leans heavily on the decades of goodwill Palmer's built through their cocoa butter body products, and applies that goodwill to a skincare formulation that simply does not deserve it. The Palmer's Vitamin C Serum sits on shelves at Chemist Warehouse and Priceline at a price point that makes it look like a genuine budget-friendly discovery. Open the bottle and the smell hits you before anything else. Artificial fragrance, sweet and synthetic. A note that has absolutely no business sitting alongside a pH-sensitive vitamin C active. Here's the deeper problem. The vitamin C in this formulation exists at a concentration. Palmer's chooses not to disclose on the label. That alone should end the conversation. Effective vitamin C serums require between 10 and 20% L-ascorbic acid to produce clinically meaningful brightening and collagen support. When a brand cannot tell you how much of the active ingredient is in the product, the answer is almost always not nearly enough. Independent cosmetic scientists have noted that the watery consistency leaving a faint, dreamy residue is characteristic of formulations where the sensory experience took priority over actual delivery active to the skin layers where real change happens. For Australians investing in skincare to address hyperpigmentation, sun damage, and age spots from decades of UV exposure in one of the harshest UV environments on the planet, Palmer's delivers the satisfying ritual of doing something while delivering very little of the chemistry needed to change anything. Your money deserves better than this. Number 8 on this list is the St. Ives Brightening Vitamin C Serum, a product that has no business using the word brightening on its label at all. St. Ives built its name in Australia on their classic exfoliating apricot products, and the brand carries a nostalgic warmth that makes the serum feel safe and familiar from the moment you pick it up. That familiarity is working against you. The ingredient list reads like a cosmetic chemistry cautionary tale for anyone who takes 5 minutes to look. Synthetic fragrance appears near the top of the formulation, in a product designed to be left on the face. Artificial colouring compounds are used to give the product its appealing golden tint, and the irony of that decision is sharp enough to cut. A properly formulated vitamin C serum is naturally clear or very faintly straw yellow from the vitamin C itself. When a brand needs to add an artificial dye to make their vitamin C product look vitamin-rich and golden, that decision tells you everything you need to know about how little actual vitamin C is performing inside the bottle. In the United States, St. Ives have faced class action litigation, specifically over misleading claims about their skincare products, with plaintiffs arguing that the natural and gentle language across the marketing line did not match what was chemically present inside. Australian consumer law under the ACCC requires product claims to be truthful and not misleading. A vitamin C serum that colours itself with artificial dye, loads itself with synthetic fragrance, and promises brightening results, lacks the formulation power to deliver, is walking that line with its eyes closed. This one goes in the bin. Sliding in at number 7 is the Simple Booster Serum, the 3% vitamin C option that Simple markets to Australians as kind to skin and gentle enough for daily use. Simple has built their entire brand identity around being fragrance-free, sensitive skin-friendly, and accessible, in credit where it is genuinely due. The fragrance-free formulation is a real and meaningful step above the previous 3 brands on this countdown. But here is where the Simple Serum falls apart, and it falls apart at the most fundamental level possible, 3%. That is the concentration of vitamin C in this product. Independent clinical research, including studies referenced by the Australasian College of Dermatologists, consistently demonstrates that vitamin C concentrations below 10% produce brightening and collagen-stimulating effects that are clinically insignificant in most skin types. 3% is a cosmetic dose of an active ingredient being sold as a therapeutic skincare treatment. The vitamin C form used is ascorbyl glucoside, a derivative rather than L-ascorbic acid itself. Ascorbyl glucoside requires conversion by skin enzymes to become active vitamin C, and that enzymatic conversion is inefficient in most adult skin types, particularly in skin that is being UV damaged. You are getting a fraction of an effective dose. Simple does not publish pH data of this formulation. The L-ascorbic acid and its derivatives need a specific pH window to penetrate the skin barrier at all. Gentle is not the same as effective. Australians with busy lives and a limited skincare budget deserve products that actually perform, not products that are simply defensive. At number 6, we have the Nip Plus Fab Vitamin C Fix Serum, sold prominently at Priceline stores across Australia and marketed aggressively at the budget-conscious skincare market who is building their first real routine. Nip Plus Fab is a British brand that arrived in the Australian market with considerable social media momentum behind it, and the shelf placement in Priceline carries an implied credibility that the formulation itself struggles to justify. Open a bottle and you will notice 2 things almost immediately. The synthetic fragrance, which is present in a product that also contains acid-level actives, and the artificial colouring used to give the serum a visually appealing brightness. These are not minor cosmetic concerns. When fragrance compounds are introduced to skin that is simultaneously being exposed to acidic vitamin C actives, dermatologists document an increased risk of what is called compound sensitization, where multiple ingredients together generate an irritation response that neither ingredient would trigger in isolation. Independent cosmetic chemists who reviewed the Nip Plus Fab formulation noted that while the brand's marketing references stable vitamin C, the inclusion of fragrance and artificial colour in the leave-on serum suggests that commercial appeal was prioritised over formulation integrity. For younger Australians building their skincare routines based on TikTok and Instagram recommendations, the Nip Plus Fab aesthetic is genuinely compelling. The science, however, is not. Do not let the packaging make decisions your ingredient list is not qualified to support. Checking in at number 5 is the Sukin Brightening Vitamin C Serum, and this one carries a particular sting because Sukin is genuinely an Australian brand. Founded in Melbourne and proudly marketed as a clean, natural, and ethical choice for conscious consumers, Sukin has earned enormous goodwill from Australians who want to shop locally and choose products aligned with their values. That goodwill is being tested by this formulation, and consumers deserve to know why. The vitamin C used in the Sukin serum is sodium ascorbyl phosphate, a vitamin C derivative rather than L-ascorbic acid. Sodium ascorbyl phosphate is more resistant to oxidation than L-ascorbic acid, which is a genuine formulary advantage, but it also requires enzymatic conversion in the skin to become active vitamin C, and it operates at a significantly lower potency even after successful conversion occurs. The concentration is not disclosed on the label or the brand website. The marketing leans heavily on botanical ingredients and the natural sourcing story, both of which are genuinely admirable brand commitments. But botanical complexes do not produce the tyrosinase inhibition that addresses uneven skin tone, and they do not stimulate the fibroblast activity that rebuilds collagen. Dermatologists in Brisbane and Perth, who see patients managing extensive UV accumulated damage, have noted that greenwashing in Australian skincare is a growing clinical concern, where ethical and clean language sells products that will not survive scrutiny and formulation review. Suki is a meaningfully better choice than the 4 brands below it on this list. It is not a choice that will change your skin. At number 4, we enter territory where the formulation angle becomes genuinely visible. The Olay Regenerist Vitamin C Plus peptide. 24 Serum represents something much closer to real skincare science. Olay has invested seriously in clinical research over the past decade, and their commitment to peptide science has earned them credibility with dermatologists who are normally dismissive of mass-market skincare claims. The Regenerist Vitamin C Serum does combine vitamin C and peptide complex, giving the formulation a dual mechanism for addressing both collagen loss and hyperpigmentation simultaneously. Independent testing of the Olay Regenerist range has produced measurable improvements in skin hydration and barrier function across multiple consumer trials. The problem is fragrance. Despite formulating a product where the actives include both vitamin C, which is pH dependent, and peptides, which are sensitive to pH disruption, Olay includes synthetic fragrance in this serum. That decision is more frustrating here than it was lower on the list, because everything else about this formulation demonstrates that the scientists involved know exactly what they are doing. For Australians without fragrance, sensitivity, or compromised skin barriers, this product will deliver a meaningful portion of what it promises. For the significant proportion of Australians managing reactive skin, rosacea, or eczema, exacerbated by our UV-intensive outdoor lifestyle, the fragrance is a deal breaker. Olay earns 4 because the formulation science is genuinely present. The commercial choice to include fragrance anyway is why it cannot go higher. Coming in at number 3 is the L'Oreal Revitalift 12% pure vitamin C brightening serum, and this is the point where the list genuinely starts to pay off for your skin. L'Oreal's research and development investment is directly visible in this formulation in a way that is not consumed. 12% L-ascorbic acid is a clinically meaningful concentration, sitting squarely within the range that independent peer-reviewed research has demonstrated produces real brightening, collagen stimulation, and repair of UV-induced photodamage over time. The pH of the formulation, while L'Oreal does not publish it officially, has been independently measured by cosmetic chemists at approximately 3 to 3.5, which sits within the effective window for L-ascorbic acid to penetrate the skin barrier and reach the target cells beneath. The formula is fragrance-free, which alone separates it from more than half the products on this counter. The remaining concern is stability. L-ascorbic acid at 12% in an aqueous solution will begin oxidizing progressively once the bottle is opened and exposed to air and ambient light. L'Oreal recommends using the product within 4 weeks of opening, and that recommendation reflects real formulation chemistry rather than marketing caution. Consumers who purchase this serum and use it gradually over 6 to 8 weeks will be applying an increasingly degraded formulation through the second half of the bottle. The solution is simple. Buy smaller sizes, write the date you opened it on the base of the bottle, and use it with intention over a focused period. When used correctly, the L'Oreal Revitalift Vitamin C Serum is the strongest mass market option available at Australian pharmacies today. Sold across Chemist Warehouse and Priceline at a price that is accessible without being a compromise, it sits at number 3 because the formulation is largely sound. The inherent challenge of stabilizing L-ascorbic acid in a consumer product keeps the top 2 positions for serums that have solved that problem different and better. Stepping up to number 2, Paul's Choice, C15 Super Booster is the product that serious skincare researchers in Australia have been quietly recommending to each other for years. Often in the skincare forums and subreddits where real formulation knowledge lives rather than the influencer content that most people see first. Paula's Choice was founded by consumer advocate Paula Bedoun after spending decades investigating misleading skincare marketing and publishing the results without brand sponsorship. The entire brand philosophy is built on ingredient transparency and formulation, honesty, values that are almost radical in the cosmetics industry. The C15 Super Booster contains 15% L-ascorbic acid, formulated in combination with vitamin E and ferulic acid. This specific combination is not marketing creativity. Published research has demonstrated that ferulic acid in combination with vitamin C and vitamin E at a low pH significantly improves both the chemical stability of the vitamin C itself and the photoprotective effectiveness of the formula, with studies showing up to 8 times greater UV protective activity compared to vitamin C used alone. These are findings dermatologists cite directly when explaining why they recommend vitamin C serum as a genuine component of daily sun damage prevention, rather than just an aesthetic treatment. The Paula's Choice formula is fragrance-free. The pH is optimized, the concentration is disclosed on the label, third-party testing confirms stability throughout the recommended usage window. The brand publishes full ingredient lists with explanations of the function of each ingredient, something almost no other brand in the Australian market provides. Available through the Paula's Choice website and selected Australian stockists, the C15 Super Booster costs more than the pharmacy brands lower on this list, but it delivers what it promises with a degree of honesty that should be the baseline standard across this entire category. It sits at number 2 because number 1 carries an even more rigorous and extensive body of independent clinical validation behind it. And the number 1 vitamin C serum sold in Australia, the gold standard against which every other product on this list should honestly be measured, is the SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic Serum. If you have spent any time around Australian dermatologists or cosmetic physicians, you have heard this name come up without prompting. SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic is not simply a high-performance product. It is the formulation that effectively created the clinical vitamin C serum category as we understand it today. The formula was developed from research conducted at Duke University and contains 15% L-ascorbic acid combined with 1% vitamin E and 0.5% ferulic acid in a patented combination that has been subjected to more independent peer-reviewed clinical validation than any other topical vitamin C formulation available anywhere in the world. The pH is precisely optimized at 2.5 to 3, the effective window for maximum transdermal delivery of L-ascorbic acid. The formulation is fragrance-free, dye-free, and paraben-free. Independent testing has confirmed antioxidant protection lasting up to 72 hours following a single morning application, a claim substantiated in published research that no other product on this list comes remotely close to matching. The TGA does not classify cosmetic serums as therapeutic goods in Australia, but the Australian dermatologists and cosmetic physicians who recommend SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic do so based on published clinical evidence rather than brand partnerships or marketing budgets. That distinction is enormous. Australia has one of the highest rates of UV exposure and UV-related skin damage in the world, and for Australians managing decades of that exposure, this is the serum that addresses the biology of the problem with validated science. It is available through authorised cosmetic clinics, dermatologist offices, and selected premium Australian stockists. It sits at a premium price point, and it is worth every cent of it. And there you have it. 10 vitamin C serums rank the worst offenders in hardening behind fragrance and artificial colour to the gold standard that Australian dermatologists trust with their own skin. The pattern across this list is consistent. Fragrance in a vitamin C serum is always a red flag. Undisclosed concentrations almost always hide underdosing. Ethical branding is not a substitute for formulation science. The right serum will make a measurable and visible difference to Australian skin, managing decades of UV damage, uneven tone, and accelerated aging from one of the harshest sun environments on the planet. The wrong one sits on your shelf and quietly turns orange while you trust it. Go check the serum you are using right now. If you see parfum on the label, artificial colour, or a vitamin C concentration that has been left off the packaging entirely, it has earned its place in the bin. Drop a comment with the brand you currently use. I want to see how many find their serum on this list. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another one. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp, read the ingredients closely, and